Tonight, we are about to witness the most anticipated interview in the history of professional automotive sales. The orange tie guy himself, Mr. Sean V. Bradley, is interviewing the gentleman in the Yankee hat with the navy blue pants and the navy blue blazer, the #1 car salesman in the world.
Yo, everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. And I am super excited, man. Before we get in and introduce my co-host for today's epic historic event, I want to just let you know the numbers, like pay-per-view on the UFC, man. This is crazy. We were going to just do quickly like 500 members. We have over 610 people registered. We're live streaming in front of 15,000 members of the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. And we are live streaming in front of 13,000 YouTube subscribers on Sean V. Bradley TV. This is epic, historic. With that being said, let me turn it over to my co-host, my partner in crime, L.A. Williams, the blind phone master. L.A., it's all you, baby.
Oh, man, we are super excited to have each and every one of you on the webinar tonight. Obviously, you know, this is happening for a huge reason, right? We got the GOAT, here tonight to have a conversation with the entire industry. And so, there's some key things that we want to make sure that gets done tonight, right? I want to talk about how you can get the most out of this webinar. But even before I do that, I hear that there's some people that are logged in. So I got my wife here, Naima. You can say, hey, Nah. All right, maybe she's not. So I wanted everybody to kind of jump in from the chat and just kind of let us know where you're tuning in from, which state, which city and state. Kind of put that up on the screen. Kind of want to see exactly where everybody is. Chicago in the building. That's what I'm talking about. Guam. Oh wow, all the way from Guam.
Man, yeah, we got people from international up here. That's what's up.
Absolutely.
Portland, Oregon, Phoenix,
Texas
Arizona.
In the building. Detroit. Woo. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So we're basically international up in this joint. And so people are listening to Mr. Ali Reda from all across the world. So we're definitely excited about that. So, hey, do me a favor. If you could also put in your position at the dealership. I think that's very important. We want to know who we're talking to. So if you're a salesperson at the dealership, put salesperson. If you're a GSM, thank you so much. Put the GMs. Absolutely. That's exactly who we want to see. Yeah, internet sales in the building. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. So again, as you can tell, this entire thing, this is an interactive webinar. This is not going to be boring where we're just going to be talking to you. First of all, you're talking to the GOAT, so it's not going to be boring, right? But this is going to be very interactive. So make sure you ask questions. Make sure you are totally tuned in. If you got to close your office door, right? Put up a sign and say, hey, don't bother me. I am learning from the GOAT right now. But you want to make sure you're doing that. You also want to make sure that you're taking notes, right? Because listen, I don't care how sharp, how much you think you remember, right? The blind phone master is telling you that the dullest pencil is more accurate than the sharpest mind. The dullest pencil is more accurate than the sharpest mind. So you want to make sure that you're writing this stuff down, typing it, whatever you got to do, right? But I want you to type it in the chat. So take your notes on the side, whatever it takes. The other thing is, don't be on this webinar and not actually implement the methods, because then that makes it be a waste of Ali Reda's time. And there's only 86,400 seconds in a day. And once they're gone, they're gone. So if he's gonna, take the time away from, helping his family, kind of just doing what he does, helping his customers and things like that, then you want to make sure that you take advantage of the time. And then the last thing is you got to make sure you have fun. right? Because again, like I said, this is going to be extreme. We're going to have a ball tonight. Am I right, Sean?
Absolutely, man. There's so much stuff I want to talk about. Again, I'm showing on the screen right here. If you want to ask a question on the screen right now, it says click on Q&A. There's a diagram, top left Mac, bottom Windows, ask your question, click send. So you could chat this. Now, this is for if you're on the webinar, but there's overcapacity on the webinar. So we're live streaming this on YouTube. We're also live streaming this in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. So Naima is going to be moderating. So now with that being said, we've got something really special that I want to kind of just say to you. First of all, how did this come about? I've been friends with Ali for years. I've interviewed him multiple times live at Digital Dealer. On podcasts and webinars, and, we're friends. You know what I mean? Like, we've been working together for like years. He's just a beautiful human being. And he came out of nowhere. He was like, hey, look, I love the Millionaire Car Salesman group that you have. It's so interactive. It's one of the most powerful groups out there. I got an idea. I've been interviewed before on television, on the news, from different people in the industry, but I've never done an interactive webinar. So Ali Reda himself is the one that suggested it to do this. So wow. It's pretty amazing. And so now what I want to transition here is I am privileged to be able to share these stats. Look at your screen, folks. Ali Reda basically is literally, not metaphorically speaking, the number one car salesman in the world. There's only one number one. Some of his stats, just 3 things I want to make you just really think about. He has sold 1,580 units in 1 year in 2017, breaking Joe Girard's record that he held for over 40 plus years. He crushed it. Next is that he sold 202 units himself on the showroom floor in December 2018. Even though it's December, he only did it in 18 days. And then most recently, he sold 32 cars in 1 day, which was January 2nd, 2020. Wow. Again, it's just amazing. But when I asked Ali,
if that's impressive, I need people to put wow in the chat right there.
Yes,
I mean, because 32 in 1 day, like, who does that? You know what I'm saying?
Ali Reda does. Ali does. That's why you heard that. You saw the intro that L.A. Williams created is Ali Boumaye, Ali. It just, when I hear Muhammad Ali, the greatest to ever do it, that's Ali Reda. Same thing as Ali Boumaye. That's like epic shit right there, man. It's just unbelievable. So yes, if you guys are psyched and hyped about this, put into the comments like wow or GOAT, GOAT. Now, here's something I want to share with you. This is really
so we're definitely gonna share exactly the story. You know, well, we're not going to do this whole webinar and not share with you the story of exactly how he does it. So you're going to learn that.
Yes. Now let me kind of get this right here. This is very important, everybody. I asked Ali, I said, Ali, I don't want this to be the same old interview questions, because when somebody sells what he sells, they get the same questions, how and what. It's the same shit. You could just watch it on YouTube. So what's the one question, Ali, that we should ask? And Ali, I'm going to let him answer this in a second himself, is you ask, why are we doing this webinar? Because nobody's making money on this webinar. Nobody's selling anything. There's nothing to buy again, but there's a reason why. And as you see, there's this amazing picture with Ali and then the late, great Kobe Bryant. So Ali Reda, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. So that's the first question is, why are we doing this webinar? It's the end of the month. And you could be doing anything, but you are basically live streaming to thousands of people. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, man. First, I want to thank you for doing this, LA behind the scenes. I mean, gosh, the same reason you're doing it, man. There's a lot of work, and people don't realize how much goes into setting these things up and timing and just everybody's, getting everybody together. So, hats off to you, LA, and your team for putting this together. And Millionaire Car Salesman Group, man, for their engagement has been outstanding. And they are the real reason why we started this in the first place. So, rest in peace, Kobe. I mean, come on. What a tragedy. I feel horrible. It's been kind of a fog the last couple of days. For a lot of people, not just because he's a star and an icon, it just as a human, so he's touched so many lives. And if you go back, and this is part of the answer. So if you listen to a lot of the interviews that people are having about Kobe now, none of them are saying anything about basketball. They're all saying how they're inspired. They're all saying how, he left them better than when he found them. And they're competitors. They're on the other side of the court. And he was doing things to help them succeed in life. and you got to consider them as competitors. So for me to be here to share my story, to inspire, to be inspired, I feel that, I'm helping somebody out there by doing it. You're right. We're doing our own free time. At the end of the day, what do we leave behind? What did Kobe leave behind? What legacy did he leave? It's not just the scoring. It's not just the titles. It's the lives that he's touched. And that's the mission. That's my mission. So not only am I helping my customers on a daily basis, I want to help, and I don't consider them competitors. I don't consider anybody, the person sits next to me, the person at the dealership. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm in competition with myself. And so was Kobe. And that's why nothing else mattered other than helping people. So I'm here to help leave the industry better than when I found it. That's the main mission. So, I got so many private messages, Sean, by people saying, you changed my life. I mean, come on, man. When somebody leaves you a message that says, you changed my life, you inspired me to do better, I'm a better person because of your story. I mean, how powerful is that? Is there any amount of money that I could get that would make me feel better? No, zero. It's just being inspired by everybody, showing their love and showing their support. So for me, it's giving back. It's just getting people to believe what's possible is the main thing. And then if they realize that, hey, I'm just like you, I'm no different, then that's going to help them achieve anything in their life, not just auto sales, just in life in general. And that's really the mission, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're inspired, let me see you put inspired in the chat. If you're inspired, I want to see inspired in the chat right now. I need to find out his name, if we're really inspiring people or if we're just kind of wasting our time tonight. Then, okay, cool.
And then LA also in the Millionaire Car Salesman group, in the comments, we're live streaming. In the comments, put inspired. Now, let me just say this real quick, everybody. I am really proud of what I've done and what have you, but I am in awe of what Ali Reda has accomplished. Like to me, Ali, you're our Kobe, you're our Michael Jordan. I mean, if you think about it, there's all these people out there that follow like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, freaking Batman, Bruce Wayne, rap stars, rock stars, but you're a car guy. You are that living legend like a Michael Jordan. And I'm not on your nuts, dude. I'm just keeping it real. What you've accomplished is unprecedented, like what Kobe accomplished, what Michael Jordan. There's very few people that are in the same lifespan, in the average 76 to 86 years alive, doing greatness. Like I am privileged that I am born and I'm alive watching someone like you, because I love this industry. I put my heart and soul, my family is in this industry. So see a player, metaphorically speaking, play at the level that you do. It's like much respect, my brother. And to be as humble as you are and as kind as you are, as altruistic as you are, it's a role model for what we should all aspire to. Now, with being that said, I want to make a huge announcement here, and LA is going to go through the details. Ali, myself, and Build a Brand wanted to give you guys something that we didn't promote just out of altruism, okay? What we want to do is somebody that's on this webinar or watching this on YouTube or Facebook Millionaire Car Salesman Group is going to win for free
only if they put the word win in the chat. Only if they put the word win in the chat right now. You got to put win in the chat right now if you want to win.
If you want to know what you're going to win, okay. I'm going to tell you it's worth $7,500. It's $7,500. I want to see wins all over there. Win, 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 win. Okay, so can I tell them, LA, what they're going to win? Somebody's going to win?
Let's do it.
Okay, first and foremost, you're going to get, you ready for this? Your own Build a Brand platform. That's the digital business card. That's the full-blown website, your own salesperson's full-blown Build a Brand platform for free. That's one. Second thing that you're going to be able to do, you ready for this, is that you're going to be able to get Bradley On Demand, our complete platform for 30 days completely for free. And I don't do test drives, so that's not like a freebie I'm giving. I'm actually giving you a $5 million library for free for 30 days. Wow. But here's the best part. You ready for this? You're going to get a 1-hour personal coaching from Sean V. Bradley 1 week. The following week, you're going to get a 1-hour free coaching from L.A. Williams, the blind phone master. And then 1 week after that, you're going to get a 1-hour free coaching from Karen Bradley. She didn't even know, but now she does. And then Ali, can I make the announcement? Like how much time? Is it 30 minutes or an hour with you?
Do it, bro. I'm going for an hour, man.
Woo! Okay, so folks, think about it. Some lucky winner here that's listening to this is going to walk away with a brand new website, Bradley On Demand, and personal coaching once a week from Ali Reda, Sean Bradley, the Blindfold Master, and Karen Bradley. This is called a professional makeover. This is a level up program. And all you've got to do is LA, if you could explain Watch Party. So you know how on Facebook you have the Watch Party? So if you click Watch Party, we want to broadcast this. Ali, how many you've been on TV in front of like millions of people on CBS, is it like, or ABC, the Tell the Truth, on Fox News, but this is the first time that you've ever done an interactive webinar. Can you explain to them about that, what that means?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting for me too, man. So I'm learning about the interactive webinar, and you know, we need engagement, we need questions, we need people to participate. You know, none of this is rehearsed. I mean, we didn't talk about any questions. We don't know what's going to happen, what's going to come up. But this is all about engagement. We want everybody to participate, and man, that's a lot of stuff, Sean. I thought we were doing, you know, that's a lot of stuff to give away. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good song too, Eric. I like that.
But look at what you're giving away, Ali. You're giving away, you know, your time and your heart and your soul and your inspiration. You know what I mean? So why not? If we're going to do this, right, why, let's go fucking hard and let's go all out. Let's give somebody the opportunity to impact their lives, not just with information, motivation, but with tactical resources and strategic coaching to help them get to the next level.
I love it.
If you like that, I want to see the comments blowing up. I want to see questions. I want to see, holy shit, I want to win something, get interaction, live stream this. If you're on a laptop or a PC or iPad, get your cell phone out and live stream this on social media, because I believe the world needs to hear Ali's message. So LA, it's about ready to get started. So we've structured this. Check it out.
Sean, can we one more thing? Because there's a lot of managers and GSMs and finance managers and owners and everybody on here. Why don't I also do, in addition to that, maybe give a manager a 30-minute morning sales meeting conference call, you know, with myself.
Are you kidding me? Are you guys hearing this?
In addition to that, salesperson, somebody winning that, let's get some at least to the manager. So I appreciate their participation here too.
Absolutely. You guys,
if you're a manager, put I want that. Put I want that in the chat. Put I want that.
I'm a manager and I want that. So yeah, but I want to add it. Say I'm a manager and I want that. Just type that. I'm a manager. I want that. Okay. So now we're going to go. Let's get started. So check this out. So here's the first category that we're going to do is this: questions for the #1 car salesman in the world. So Ali, you look at your screen, pick your choice. Like, here's the choices. What questions do people ask you the most? What is your day-to-day routine? What is your exact sales process? What is your referral generation process? And what are you involved in with the community? Pick one question for you to answer first. And then this is going to give people time for Naima to look at the comments. And I want you guys now to start posting questions in the Millionaire Car Salesman Group comments on YouTube and in the webinar. But while you guys are articulating your questions and Naima's picking it out, Ali, let's just get the question started. Pick one of those questions you'd like to answer, sir.
So let's go with community. I mean, that's nearer to my heart.
Okay, so what are you involved in within the community? Let's be specific, sir.
So, you know, that's one of the main questions a lot of people ask is, you know, repeats and referrals in this business is what people say is the big deal, right? Ask for repeats, ask for referrals. But how many repeats and referrals could you possibly get? So how do you get to that next level without having to worry about just one or two people, you know, sending you their cousin, their brother or their mother? So you got to get involved in community, because now you're appealing to 100,000 people or 80,000 people, or how many people you have in your community. There's more than enough people in your backyard to last you a lifetime. So community is probably the biggest deal that I can give somebody and say, get involved. And what does that mean? So a lot of people ask, how do I get involved? Where do I start? Where do I go? It could be anything. It could be high school events. It could be sporting events. It can be local community centers. It could be a home and garden show.
Ali, let me do this. This is what we feed off each other really well. You're wrapping up a lot of stuff. Let's drill down to the people that are confused. So let's go backward. You said sporting. Let's be so specific. Give us 2 examples for sporting.
Perfect. Let's say you go to a high school football game, right? First thing, you can put up a banner at the game, right? Putting up a banner means nothing. You being there physically when the banner is there is the next level. So what that means is, Sean, you got to be present where you advertise. I can put on my billboard anywhere and hope people will see it. But now if they see the billboard week in and week out, I'm not talking one time. I'm talking every single week. It's got to be repetitive. It's got to be 3 years, 2 years. You got to keep going. Don't give up right away. But you got to be present. Now, what does being present mean, right? Let's take that to the next level. Does that mean me going there and sitting in the bleachers and watching the game? No. Does that mean me maybe working the concession stand and then seeing every single person that walks in? The misconception, Sean, about advertising and being present where you advertise is you're not there to solicit business. You're not there handing somebody their nachos and saying, hey, I sell cars. You're literally there to do what we do best, is start conversation, is to get people to know you, who you are first as a person.
So let me elaborate on that point. Covey says this is the emotional bank account. If you go to a physical bank or ATM, you can't withdraw unless you deposited X amount of dollars. Same thing in the emotional bank account. If you keep withdrawing, asking, taking without depositing to the emotional bank account, you're going to overdraw the account. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what's going to happen. So you're not there soliciting business. I'm not there saying to them, I'm Ali Reda, I sell cars. I'm literally saying, I'm Ali Reda, I'm your friend. I'm here to know about you. I'm doing the same things that you do. That's community. That's where people come together. And it could be anything, Sean, weddings.
Stop. This is stop. This is what I love doing as an interviewer. You know what I mean? Like, I get my Wolf Blitzer on is, let's use one at a time. Weddings. Okay, you have me intrigued. I had no idea. What can we do at a wedding to like crush it? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you can do one of two things. You can go to a wedding, go sit in the back corner. You can have a drink, have your meal, and go home. Or you can go there. You can mingle with people. You walk around. I mean, you're going to know probably half the people there. You're not just going to you're not crashing a wedding. You were invited there for a reason. So it's interacting. It's interacting with people. You're building relationships with everybody. And then eventually somebody's going to mess up and say, hey, what do you do? Or somebody, my friend is going to be like, hey, Ali, he sells cars. Didn't you say you needed a car? It's going to come up in a conversation. One of our biggest problems as car salespeople is we have, it's hard for us to break the ice, right? It's hard for me to go to the bar and meet somebody and say, I sell cars, because it's going to be like, I sell cars. People, for some reason, we just have a problem breaking that ice. When you're successful at it and people look up to you as a person, then you hold your head up high and you're excited about what you do. They're going to feed off of that. So you don't really have to break the ice anymore because others are going to do it for you. But again, it's just being present.
Give me one more. And I'm going to the first question. Give me one more community thing. So we heard, sports, like, football game or something like that. We heard a wedding. Give me something that somebody might not really think about. Like, I didn't even think about wedding. Give me another thing that would be great to just be involved in the community. What else?
So daddy-daughter dance. I love it. Ooh. I go every single year. I go to daddy-daughter dance every single year. It's a great time. Guess who's there? A bunch of other fathers. You're doing what they love. You talk about your daughter. You talk about your life. You ask them how they're doing. It's gonna come up in a conversation. Or you go to the daddy-daughter dance. You sit down at a table. You dance 2 dances and you leave. I mean, you got to get engaged. You have to be the person that when they walk in, people want to come up to you and see how you're doing. So, but here's the problem, Sean. I'm going to just take it one step further. Here's the problem. The reason why we as salespeople give up is there's no instant gratification. So I show up to, the daddy-daughter dance and my mindset is saying, well, I'm going to go try to sell a car. I just went for the wrong reason. Then I'm going to leave there and say, well, that was a waste of time because I didn't sell a car or the football game or the wedding. And instead of going there saying, I'm just going to build friends, I'm just going to make friends, it could take 3 years of going there before you actually get a prospect to sell a car. That's why we give up. That's why salespeople say that was a waste of time. It didn't work. I went to a charity event. I go to charity events with 2,000 or 3,000 people, right? So how is 2,000, 3,000 people going to come up to me and see me? But in 1 year, they're not gonna. But in 5 years, eventually I'm going to touch every one of them. Or in 8 years, eventually I'm going to touch one of them. So don't give up. If you're going to these functions, don't give up. You got to keep going. You got to keep putting yourself out there. And again, the mindset cannot be, I'm going to sell a car. You're not going there saying, pass out your business card and say, here, come see me when you need a car. It's not, you can't go there with that intention.
You're planting seeds for your relationships to sprout. I love it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is Naima or LA, let's talk about the first question. So we're gonna take some questions from the audience. LA, Naima?
All right, Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
All right, awesome. So the first question is from Adam Crowley, and he asks, so do you own your own advertising? And how many cars do you have out now this month? This is double question.
Okay. So, I'm not sure what that means. Do you own your own advertising? I'm going to assume, but he could clarify this, is that do you invest in your own advertising budget? Like, do you have anything that you invest on a monthly basis, Ali?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of little things that I don't even get the dealership involved in. So if it's something like, a hole-in-one or a golf course outing or golf outing, and it's a $200 fee, I might just do it and be done. The bigger ones, the ones that are costing me, $3,000, $4,000 charity events, some of them where I go and speak at, those are the ones that, yes, I do participate. So if you want the ownership to believe in you and to participate in things that you believe in, there's nothing better than saying, hey, boss, I'll pay half, right? I'll pay half of it because you're going to get a return on that investment. You're building your brand. If you think that you don't want to spend your own money on it, how could you assume or think that the dealership should spend their money? So then now you're going to be very conscious on where you advertise. So if the dealership says, here's $2,000 for the year, then you should budget that $2,000 and say, this is where I'm going to spend this money. But I definitely participate all year round in my own advertisements and a lot of things I do on my own free time. And it's not always money. It's not always money.
Can you give us an estimate of two things I'd like to know on this point is approximately how much money do you spend a month on marketing, advertising, branding, if you don't mind sharing that approximately?
Well, here, now I might be a little different. So now I don't have to spend as much as I previously did. When I was doing 25 and 30 cars a month, I probably spent my own money. I would say maybe $3,000 a year of my own money. Now I don't even know the exact amount, but it's probably less than that. But there's certain times where somebody will come to me in emergency situations where they'll say, we need $2,500 for this event. I'll loan up to it. I'll put it out there. But guess what? I'm attending that event too. It's not about just giving money. It's not about, it's advertising yourself and being present where you advertise. Again, I'm going to keep drilling that because that's very important. And another thing is a lot of these dealerships, Sean, they actually have charity events they donate money to. 80% of them, nobody goes. Nobody knows about them. They just send money. Go to the owner, start out and say, hey, boss, what charity events do we support? And they're going to pull out.
Stop. This is people. Listen, I want to hear some comments. Where's LA Williams? I want comments and in there. Chat this, message this, whatever. Fire right there. Do you know how much money dealerships spend, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually from all the different things? But like Ali Reda just said, most dealerships don't physically go. They just cut the checks. If it was me, use the dealership money and say, hey, what are we sponsoring? I want to go. I want to physically go and represent the store. Ali, that's beautiful. Yeah. I love that. Now the other question. Yeah. Real quick, the other question that he asked was, how many cars do you have out January 28th right now as of today?
No idea. I have no idea. I just a lot of people know. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I have no idea because I don't keep track of where I'm at throughout the month. For a number of reasons. One, I don't want it to dictate my next move. I don't want to say that I'm at 150 and I need to hit 160, or I'm at 80 and I need to hit the next number. Numbers don't matter. So I just continue to go. I find out at the end of the month, maybe 2 to 3 days into the new month, where I finished off. But I have no idea where I'm at throughout the month. Even when I sold 202, I obviously knew it was a very busy month and potentially a record-breaking month. But if they told me I was at 198, I might have been, sidetracked of thinking I have to hit 200. So I don't let that dictate my next move. It doesn't matter to me at this point.
I think LA just came back from his break. I'm just kidding, LA. You back, baby? Maybe not. Okay, Naima, what's the next question? Let's keep it moving. Come on,
I had to
Naima.
jump in on my phone because it was crazy.
All right, so Naima, what's the next question, girl? Come on.
All right, so the next question is, all right, this is from Kate Lawson. I work in the service department, and honestly, it's a great place to be. I'm curious, how do you approach customers to get them to buy today?
So that's a good question, Kate. So again, it's your mindset. If your mindset is approaching that person saying that I need to sell you something, then you're probably going to have a 20% chance, just like the industry says. If you're going to approach that person to say, how can I help this person today? Or how could I help them in the future? So again, you're building a relationship. Don't look at every person as I got to sell them a car today. It's not like that. Like, you're planting the seed, even in the service aisle. You're getting to know people. In the service aisle, if somebody is comfortable with you, oh my God, they are going to come to you more than they're going to go to a salesperson, because that's where they know that it's unknown. They don't know what's wrong with the car. They don't know what they're going to spend. They're coming in to see you. If they trust you, that's a whole nother level.
Hey, Ali, I want to also talk about this because I'm really fond of saying that every person in the dealership is a sales rep. I don't care if you're the lot person, the porter, the service writer, the frickin' mechanic. You represent a multi-million-dollar business that sells automobiles and everything else. So, for example, if you're in the military, if you're in the Marine Corps and you're a chaplain, you're a religious, person in there. First and foremost, before you're a chaplain, you're a combat Marine. You know what I mean? You know how to work an assault rifle. Same thing. This is every person in the dealership, has the ability to sell. Maybe they don't do the full product presentation, demonstration, drive, delivery. Can you talk about that? Do you believe that everybody should be an ambassador or a megaphone, a promoter of what all the dealership does?
Absolutely. It's one team. And I think upper management needs to reiterate that at times, because a lot of times we as salespeople do have arguments with the service writers because we feel that they're not taking care of our customer, and they forget that customer bought a car from us, and that's why they're there in the first place. So, as a manager, you do need to send out that mass email or letter and reiterate, hey, this is one team, one mission. Everybody's here together. So if you have to cover my back, then you got to do it. But it's very important for everybody in the dealership to understand that. I'm a firm believer that everybody in the dealership should be commission-based. I think everybody should, including porters, including parts guys, the driver. Everybody needs to be commission-based at some point so they can feel everything that we feel as salespeople.
Hey, LA, make a note to self. Next webinar, I want sound effects. I want bombs and shit when people are dropping knowledge bombs like Brad Lee. When I want to hear like clapping in the audience. So you got to do some special effects because this is fire right here. LA, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen comments. I don't know if if our audience realizes we're about to give $7,500 worth of free stuff to upgrade your career. So talk to the people. I want to see comments. I want to see live streams. I want to see stuff. Let's go.
They absolutely are, man. The chat is going crazy, man. People, are just, they're all over the place with this. So they are definitely on it. Folks are asking questions. I mean, David Rose, what's happening? I appreciate you. David Rose says, this is powerful stuff. Jeff says, notes are being taken, my brother. Right?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so Naeem, next question. Let's keep it moving faster because we want to hit this out like boom, boom, boom. Next question, Naima, loud and proud.
Hold on, I came out of the chat.
Okay, see, we can't wait that long. So Ali, while she's figuring out the next question, let's go to the next thing I want to ask. Okay, so important advice for a brand new hire. I mean, like if you are a new hire, if you've been in the industry less than like 6 months, put in there, I'm new, okay, in the comments, in the thread, I'm new. So Ali, brother, like you're an inspiration, but it's like, can you imagine just getting drafted, to the Lakers, for example? Let's honor Kobe for a second here. If you're drafted to the Lakers and all of a sudden you see Kobe Bryant, I'm like, yeah, you're a Laker, but you just got on the team. So what advice do you have? Let's break this down. In the first 2 weeks, what should a new hire do? That's a direct question, Ali. In the first 2 weeks, what should a new hire do?
Just learn dealership process. Forget about the process of selling a car. You need to understand, what an appraisal means. You need to understand what APR means. You need to understand which person in the office to avoid and which person you should be hanging out with. So there's
stop. That's the next question right there. Let's talk about that because you're building into it. See the question right there? How do you avoid all the negativity and haters? Because car dealerships are, famous or infamous for having huddles, complaining, bitch sessions, and people that don't want to do training. So how does a new person not get sucked into that vortex of BS? Give us some.
It becomes a cancer. I mean, there's a lot of do not do's in a dealership. So, a lot of them don't hang out in groups and don't let somebody else's negativity bring you down. And, if they don't like somebody, doesn't mean you don't have to like somebody. So you got to stay away from those huddles. I love my coworkers, and there's a time and a place to do that. But to spend your whole day talking about the football game or talk about what's happening outside of the dealership, I mean, just a waste of time. Going out to smoke a cigarette, horrible. Taking 2-hour lunches, horrible. I mean, those are things that you just can't get yourself involved in. I mean, you're there to work. I'm not saying work yourself to death, but your mindset needs to be that I'm here to help somebody. I'm here to work, and I'm here to make money. I mean, it can't be I'm here just to hang out. You want to hang out, might as well just take the day off.
Okay, so you gave me my mindset. So I'm brand new. I'm like, Ali, this is great advice. But literally, because some dealerships, I'm here and they're listening to this. So I love you guys. You know who you are. But the GM turned around and said to me, he said, before we got there, and this is a powerful group. They're like, look, here's some keys. And it's like, show me what you got. I mean, like there's some dealerships have no structure, very little structure for onboarding. So if you try to imagine, this is a lot of pressure to put on your shoulders, Ali, but I believe you could handle the weight, is let's just say that you are their training manager, because some people, this is all they got. They got you on a webinar, brother, because dealership is doing jack shit to set them up and onboard them. So let's say you're talking to me, okay, but you're talking through me to the industry. What do I do for the first 2 weeks? Be ultra specific, like you're talking to my 11-year-old. Talk to me, brother. What should I do? I just got there. Now what? I
mean, you got to go through the sales platform, whatever sales. If they have Bradley On Demand, and you should be glued to that thing. That's what you should be doing instead of hanging out. I'd find out if it's a new community, I'd find out things that are going on in the community. Go to a community center, physically go there and just ask them what type of things do you guys have going on. The training, self-education, doing things like this, educate yourself, watch videos of Sean on YouTube. I mean, there's thousands of them on there, but when you're first starting out, Sean, they got to understand dealership lingo. They got to understand dealership process, and you got to get that training, Bradley On Demand. You got to get dived into it. You got to understand that part. And then if there is a person in the dealership that's a veteran that will help you out, that's the person that you should hang out with. I know people are busy and they don't have time for it, but if you could just maybe watch from a distance, that's another thing that they should be doing.
Okay, so Naima, are you ready? And LA and Naima, this is like, we can't be looking at this. I need questions ready to be answered. And as soon as Ali's done talking, the next one, I want this fast. So while we're talking, me and Ali are talking, I want the next question in queue. So do you have one ready, Naima?
I do, yes.
Go. What's up? What do we got?
All right. What is your outside prospecting scripts? From Brian Glass.
Okay, so what is your outside prospecting scripts? So I guess if Brian could elaborate, but what I'm thinking he's asking is, what literally do you say? So if you could role play with me, let's just say that, if Brian, if you could give a scenario, Naima, I can't see any comments. Like, what do you exactly say?
They're not paying attention. Forget about that, because I'm not out there trying to prospect a customer. I'm there building a friend. There is no line. There is no script. There is no, what are those things that you're supposed to follow on the phone? I don't even like those things. There's none of those.
Word tracks.
Word tracks. There is no word track. Does a second grader have a word tracks when they're meeting another kid? Does a fifth grader have a word tracks? Do they have word tracks when they're trying to? No. You know what they're talking about? Nothing. They're talking about playing outside. So all you're doing is you're building friends the same way you build any friendship with another human. You just be yourself. If you want them to like you for you, then be you. If you want them to like you for being just a salesman, then sound like a salesman and see where that gets you.
Ali, let me breathe into it. I love, and I never hear anybody say that stuff. And I'm hearing a little bit of our friend and your really close friend, Damien, right? Like, this is the stuff that I hear Damien say, Damien Bordeaux, shout out to Damien. Damien is an amazing. Big shout out to Damien. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Real recognizes real. Damien, shout out to you, brother. I see your work. And again, you know, at the end, Ali will talk about this. The book that everybody that registered for this webinar gets a book, you know, from Ali and Damien Bordeaux titled How to Sell 100 Cars a Month. But it's relationship selling. Ali, that's so powerful. You don't need monkey word tracks to have a conversation. We all know that sales is a relationship business. If you get people to like you, trust you, and believe you, if they're in the market, they're going to buy from you. So what Ali's saying, people, is you need to shift your paradigm. You're thinking about this like there's a trick, there's a hack, there's a way to do this. No, he's saying get active in the community. If you want the community to support you and to buy from you, you need to support the community by being an active, productive member and not game the system. Is that right?
Right on the head. Right.
All right, good. Naima, next question. Let's keep it moving, baby. Let's go.
All right. So the next question is, what is your follow-up process after people buy?
Very good.
This is big.
Very
so let me structure this a little bit. Let me frame this for you a little bit, okay? And this is specific, all right? This is important. So once you sell a car, again, if you're all about the relationships, which you are, and I know you are, I'm dying to hear also, what is, when somebody buys a car from Ali Reda, Ali, please paint me a vivid picture like a blind person could see by your words. I mean, that's detailed. I want you to tell me if Sean Bradley bought a car from you, or my daughter, Tiana, bought a car from you, what could we expect as you, like literally from the second that I drove off the lot? Talk to us, brother.
Yeah. So I have two assistants first thing. So I'll start with that because one of the three of us will walk them out to the car. So as we're going over the car, we're again, still building relationship. We're still getting to know more about them. We're going over the car. We're asking them if they have any questions. We're making sure they fully understand everything about the car before they go. Now, the reason I bring up my two assistants is they are administration only. They don't sell. However, they can take you out to the car to set up your Bluetooth and whatnot. I am the last person to see that customer prior to them leaving the dealership. So it's very important to understand that even if they are out there setting up their Bluetooth, they come back and grab me at the end, and I'm out there. I'm the last person that the customer sees before they leave. And there's a lot of dealerships that have delivery personnel that do that. If you're not the last person going out there and thanking that customer for the business, making sure that they understand that you're the person they need to get a hold of if they need anything, including billing issues or anything, flat tire, make sure that they understand that you are the contact person for everything. So that you need to put in their mind at the end. They leave the next day. We have a department that sends out letters. We have phone calls. We have our business center that calls them just to make sure that they understand that, the process and if they have any further questions. If they do, they send that question over to me immediately. Within 1 or 2 days, I will call also. We also have letters that go out. So they'll get a letter 2 days after reminding them of their customer survey that they're going to get. So to make sure that they fill that out because we know how important that is in the dealership world. So we're in contact with that customer that whole first week right after they take delivery. But I'm involved in the whole process.
Something I learned from you, which I think is brilliant, and I want you to speak about this because I think this is a missed opportunity. There's the Badger commercials. You remember the Badger commercials? Do you remember those, Ali, at all? You ever see those?
Yep.
Okay, and what's one of the craziest things with that, right? Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm getting messages from my people. Naima, I got people saying you need to step up your game, girl. This is Ali Reda. This is the GOAT. You need to be on top of this shit, man. Like, we're taking 10 minutes to cook minute.
She's doing good. She's doing good.
I know. That's my girl. That's LA's wife, and she's my sister, and I love her to death, but I need more questions. So listen, Ali, here's the thing I'm going to say to you. I want you to explain this. You said something to me that touched me deep. You said that you are the complete liaison with anything automotive. You're not going to turn around and let a service provider or somebody else by accident fuck up the relationship or the perception of you. Explain to them how you own every aspect of that person, whether it's sales, parts, recalls, whatever. If somebody breaks down, you told me that you're the one that they call. Explain that to everybody. They need to hear this.
Right. Yeah. So I have them I guess I'll use the word conditioned. I have them conditioned to call me for everything. And the reason I do that is, okay, if they call for an oil change, chances of them getting through service may be very difficult. They're going to get passed around the dealership. They're going to get frustrated. They're probably not even going to come in for the oil change because they're just passed around. If they call me first for an oil change, I simply answer the call, or one of my staff answers the call, and we patch them through immediately. They're going to get through. They're going to get the appointment. There's no bouncing around. There's nobody else messing with them. Now I know that that person is in contact with me and they need an oil change. Same thing with the billing issue. If they have a billing issue, I could probably handle it faster than them waiting on hold for 2 hours with the financial company. So I could probably answer that a lot quicker or get through a different line a lot quicker. But you want people to call you for everything because you want to condition them to be used to calling you. And then when they're ready for a car, you're the first person they're going to think of, or their family member is going to think of. If somebody calls me at midnight because they got a flat tire, literally I can have a tow truck there in probably 10 minutes faster than OnStar can, because I have a specific tow truck driver that handles all my calls. So if I call him at midnight, he's pretty much dropping what he's doing to go attend to my customer. And guess what? I didn't change the tire. I didn't change the oil. I didn't pay the bill. But all I did is answer that call. And usually they're 30 seconds or a minute. They're not long phone calls. But I saved the day, right? So at that point now, they're more comfortable with dealing with me than anybody else. If they decide to buy a car somewhere else and that person doesn't do that, that'll be the last time they ever buy a car from somebody else anyways, because they're going to come back to you. They're going to get used to this type of service.
Okay, so somebody's asking right now, I know I'm going to get Naima, but I want to go quick. When do you get to work? Somebody asked right there, what time do you start your day at a dealership, and what's your normal schedule look like?
Okay, so I usually try to get in about an hour early. So Mondays and Thursday, we work 9 to 9. That's the hours we're open. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 6. So I try to get an hour early, get my day started. I check a couple things in the morning, my emails, my surveys, and then I preload the deals for that day. And then I'm there maybe a half hour to an hour after close just to kind of unwind. I only live 60 seconds from the dealership, so I don't have a drive time to unwind. So sometimes I'm there just unwinding. And, my Saturday hours are 0 because we're closed. Sunday, we're closed. So, Monday through Friday, that's it. About maybe 50 hours a week.
That's amazing. Okay, Naima, what's the next question?
All right. So you kind of answered a little bit, Ali. How do you manage work-life balance?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the big part of it is I'm only doing 50 hours a week. I know there's a lot of dealerships out there that open Saturday, and some of them open on Sundays and open till 9 every day, which is kind of crazy. The reason why I keep my sanity is because I only work 50 hours a week. So during the weekend, it's family time, personal time. I go on vacation, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. So I'm still doing a lot of personal things. That's why it's so important to get involved in relationship type selling, because it doesn't take 3-4 hours per delivery. It takes maybe 20 minutes per delivery, and you can knock out a lot more in that shorter time frame.
Real quick, LA, talk to the people. We need comments. We need live streams. We need more engagement on this stuff. Come on, guys. LA?
Yeah, so folks are asking questions. And so that's the number one form of engagement right now. So the engagement is
tell me more
great.
questions. What's the next question? Naima, what's next?
All right. So someone asked to piggyback on the tow truck. So do you have a contract with the tow truck company? How do you best provide that service?
Yeah, I mean, every dealership has a specific towing company that they use. So get a hold of that owner or manager or the person that does most of your deliveries, get their cell phone number and say, hey, I am going to send you all my business, but this is all I want in return is I want you to put my customers priority 1. If I call you, then I expect them to get picked up right away. And now if I ever have an issue, if my tow truck driver doesn't call them within minutes after I call them, man, I call and get on them. I'm like, hey, my customer's sitting on the side of the road and you haven't called them and it's been 4 minutes. And literally I did that a couple of times, and believe me, as soon as I text them the number and the person's name, and I check 2 or 3 minutes later and they always call. So, have one person. If you have multiple people, it doesn't work as well. Have one person ready to go.
Wow, that's crazy. So how do you manage so many different people? Eric wasn't, texting, calling, different things like that. How do you do that? Or do they kind of go in a box or something?
Yeah, LA, those phone calls are only 30 seconds. I mean, those phone calls are a minute. You know, they're like, hey, I'm stuck at the side road. What do I do? And then you just say, don't worry about it. Where are you at? I'm going to have somebody call you right now. That's the extent of the phone call. It's not, you know, anything more or less. And then you follow up later and make sure it was handled. But, you know, that's why I need assistance, because I am involved in so many other things, you know, with billing issues and, you know, my car broke down. So my assistants definitely help me out. And sometimes they answer my cell phone. My cell phone just sits there and anybody can get it. So they help out a lot as well.
Ali, really quick. Somebody asked, what do you drive? What kind of car do you drive? Quick.
Escalade.
You drive an Escalade. See, and for the record, he is a Cadillac and a Chevy sales professional, #1 Cadillac salesperson in the world, #1 Chevy person in the world, and he drives his brand. So I love that.
I could never drive a different brand. I would feel.
I love that guy. Yeah. So explain to that. So how important is it for you to respect and love what you sell? Talk about that.
Oh my God! If you don't believe in your brand, I mean, you know, a lot of people ask me that question. A lot of my customers ask me that. Well, what do you drive? I'm like, right there, I drive an Escalade. And the way the dealership is set up is funny because my Escalade is the first one. I have my own parking spot, and it's right near Michigan Avenue. So a lot of my customers will drive by and they, I seen your car out there. I know you're here. So they all know me that way. So if they don't see my car, sometimes they'll call me and say, hey, why are you not at work?
Hey, Ali, can I share a story with you guys real quick? I don't know if you've seen this, but last year in the Millionaire Car Salesman group, I posted a video. I was in first class on a flight, and I happened to be sitting next to the chairman and CEO of Payless. Okay, Payless Shoes. You remember that? Yeah. Okay, and so Sean Bradley was like, I wasn't going to pass the opportunity. The guy approached me because I had orange on. He was like, why the orange? And long story short, I'm talking to him. I pulled his coat. I said to him, I was like, you're the chairman and CEO of Payless. What kind of shoes you wearing? You know what he did? He lifted up. He was wearing a pair of Payless, which are cheap shoes because he loved his brand. He lived and represented. True story. And I got video of that. The guy was wearing Payless shoes, and he didn't think he was going to have an impromptu, video.
He's not going to know that. No, he's not going to know that. No.
So, but that's so strong is if you don't love your brand, you are basically missing a huge opportunity. So I'm telling you right now, pro tip right now is love your brand or fall in love with your brand or have a love affair during the day when you're working, because you've got to love and rep your brand or you're never going to be able to be as successful as you could be. Would you agree with that, Ali?
Sean, yeah, I'll give you a quick example too. In 2010, I started at my current dealership, which is Chevy Cadillac, Les Stanford. Prior to that, I worked at a Chevy dealership that was closed down by GM in 2010. It was one of the wind down dealers. Well, at that time, I was probably averaging maybe 25, 30 cars. I might have hit a little over that a couple of times. So when the dealership was announced that they're closing, I had owners of Ford stores and other manufacturers come into my office and telling me, I will give you whatever you want. Please come to my dealership. And they were offering me jobs. I was very humbled by it. It was amazing. But I had more offers going through Ford and other brands, but I didn't believe in it. My heart was with Chevy. I was already there. So I moved from that Chevy dealer to the Chevy dealer I'm at. And obviously that to me was the best decision I made. But I had other options, and they weren't in my heart. So I stayed where my heart was.
I love it, man. Naima, what's the next question?
Well, let me jump in here real quick because I got a question from Stephanie Miller. Stephanie Miller wants to know, who is it that you look to specifically, Ali, for motivation, inspiration? Like, where do you get it from and how do you stay motivated? A lot of people are asking a lot of motivation questions, being in a slump, all that different type of stuff. Obviously, you don't experience that. So tell the people about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and I'm an athlete at heart. So I, grew up in sports and, I follow a lot of sports figures, but not so much just the ones that are winning. I mean, I follow ones that have heart. You don't have to even look up that high. Really, managers in a lot of dealerships play that role. Owners in the dealerships play that role. My manager that I first started at Les Stanford with, Scott Montgomery, which was one of the best managers I've ever had. He was a role model to me, and he helped me achieve success that I'm at now. Without him, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So, those are the type of people that influence me, the people that care and show passion and compassion and want to see me succeed. But, if you look at athletes, they get in slumps. And how do they get out of slumps? Get back to the basics.
Got it. That's deep. I want to kind of a follow-up because you mentioned managers.
wait a minute. Naima, can you confirm that we're still live streaming in the Millionaire Car Salesman group? Because somebody just said that it froze. So as you're doing it, LA, jump in, but Naima, confirm that we're still live in the group. LA,
Sure.
ask your question.
All right, cool. So as a follow-up, you got to go back on mute. So as a follow-up to that, how do you kind of define, because you got good managers, you got bad managers, and unfortunately our industry is full of people who, think they're managers just because they yell at somebody, right? So can you kind of talk a little bit about, maybe even inspire some of the managers and things like that and how they can really, really manage their people in a way where people manage you?
I mean, you
don't make it hard.
You got to earn that respect, right? You got to earn that. So, for a manager to scream at a salesperson because they don't know what they know, what the manager knows, is wrong. How could you assume that a salesperson knows what you know as a manager? Don't assume that. So the number one flaw that we have as managers, and I have nothing against managers because I think they're amazing. They're overworked. They have too much on their plate. So now we're asking them to be coaches and to support these salespeople when they have everything else. So that whole system is kind of flawed. But if they
wait a minute, Ali, wait a minute.
Yep.
Let's pause. Everybody, you don't know this, but this was supposed to be a 1-hour webinar. I talked to the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Ali said, we could go into overtime. So you could leave in 5 minutes, but if you want more of this shit, if you feel this fire, you need to type overtime. I want to see overtime in the Millionaire Car Salesman group. I want to see overtime in this chat. I want overtime. If you don't type overtime, we're cutting this off in 5 minutes and you're going to miss out. So if you want it, Naima, tell me I see overtime all over the place. Ali, back on you, brother. Keep it real. Come on.
So for managers, I think
overtime.
Overtime. There we go.
I love it. I hit the shot to send it to overtime. Kobe style, baby.
Yes, sir.
For managers, I think if they can be a little more patient, they would get a little bit more loyalty and following from, their salespeople. So that's probably the biggest thing I can say to managers as a salesperson. If you're patient with me, I will be loyal to you. I would love you and respect everything that you say. And I would probably do exactly what you say because your heart is in the right place and your intentions are in the right place. So patience, managers.
Ali, you ready for something? I'm going to put you on the spot, brother, but I think you're built for this shit. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's pretend this is a Saturday meeting. It's the end of the month. It's the end of the month, and you're streaming to tens of thousands of people right now, but pretend that you are the sales manager or the GSM, and it is the last day of the month. I want you, whether it's 1 minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, Ali, I want you to take a second, close your eyes. I honestly, from your heart, brother, fucking preach a sales manager meeting like we were at your dealership that you were my manager. Inspire me to dig deep. 3, 2, 1, sales meeting.
Listen, I feel that I'm still a salesperson, but I want to say something because sales managers have a different level of teaching. They are more built as teachers and motivational speakers and coaches. So as a salesperson, for me to come out there and say, listen, we got to create urgency. I'm not going to go in there and
stop.
Beat everybody's head. Hold on.
Stop. You are my car hero. You're like Bruce Wayne. Yep. You're not going to say that you're just a salesperson. You are the greatest motherfucker in the world who ever do what we do. I'm not going to allow you to back out. So this is not, I don't need to tell what you're going to do. It's a sales meeting.
I'm getting there. Listen, urgency. It has to happen now. Today's the day. Now is when you got to bring me every single deal. Let's work every deal. Let's get this together. And together we're going to have a successful day. That's what it needs to be. We. It's not about you just going out there doing, running around the parking lot, parking cars. Bring me every deal and let's sit down and find a deal. That's basically what a manager needs to reiterate. And then when they come to you, you don't yell at them and say, this is garbage. Go get something else or go get another one. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what a sales manager is supposed to do. They're supposed to help these salespeople. They need you.
and lead by example. How important is that to have the respect and the admiration? If you are a manager, you should be able to show me, not tell me or yell at me, show improve or stop fucking complaining, right or wrong. You got to turn and show me, lead. I will follow you to wherever you lead me, but you lead me, not bully me in.
They're managers because of their ability to lead and coach and teach. Don't assume that the salesperson knows what you know. Don't assume that. When you stop assuming that, you're going to be able to teach them and find a deal. There's a deal everywhere, right? You just got to find it sometimes.
LA, I'm tagging you. LA, you need to get some of this, brother. I want you to engage Ali and flow with this right here, because this is real talk right here. So, LA, what's your thoughts on what Ali just said?
First of all, he's absolutely giving people the tools that they need. I think the key to this whole thing is about, managers. And we're actually doing a management training upcoming, but I mean, that's one of the biggest things. And it's tough as a manager, and I'm not making excuses. What I'm saying is tough as a manager because you forget what it's like to be brand new. You forget what it's like not to know something. And so it's very important that we put ourselves in a brand new person's shoes and, pretty much walk in it, not from a sympathy standpoint, but from an empathy standpoint and truly understanding where this person is coming from. So, man, you're really killing it.
Right. Great.
Okay, Naima, do you have a next question? Because I got one on the screen. So go, Naima.
Yep. So someone actually asked, Ali, would you consider going into sales management or opening your own dealership?
So, I mean, I never know what the future holds. At this point in my life, in my career, I have no desire of being a sales manager. We as salespeople, you got to remember that we as salespeople have the best job in the house. I'll explain it this way. The best job in the house, by far. I've had opportunities to be sales manager. I get calls all the time. But it's, we have no limit for income. We have zero limit. Managers will have a limit at some point, but they also have the sky is the limit. But still, they're going to happen. And back to what LA was saying, managers are always on the chopping block, man. They got to come in and they're always the first ones to get blamed if it's a bad month. They're the first ones to get blamed if, it's just a flawed system. And I'm not blaming managers. They're doing their best, but they're overloaded. There's got to be a better way. So I have no desire of being a sales manager. An owner, maybe in the future at some point. I don't have that in my near future, but I love what I'm doing. I am a business owner. I just own a dealership inside of a dealership.
Stop that right there. Rewind. Say that last statement, brother. Repeat that again. You are what?
I am a business owner. I own my own.
You're like Jay-Z. You're not a businessman. You are the businessman.
Right.
Folks, Ali, right or wrong, if you look at the percentage on one unit, the salesperson makes the largest percentage on a per unit basis. Yes, the dealer principal, the sales managers make more money because they get a piece of everybody's stuff. But if you look at that one individual unit that's sold, that salesperson has the highest, share of profit that they walk away from. Ali, can you speak about that?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned early in my career, and I learned this pretty fast, that quantity equals money. And if the manufacturer is looking at quantity, if the dealership is looking at quantity, and everybody in the industry is looking at quantity, why shouldn't we? Why should I limit myself at 20 cars or 30 cars or 40 cars or 200 cars? Why should I limit myself? I got to figure out a way that if you got to sell more, that's what everybody's chasing. So quantity is a big deal. Another thing I want to say about managers and owners and salespeople, if you're a salesperson, you work for your client. If you're a manager, you work for the owner. Which one would you rather work for?
The client. Right. Can you do me a favor? Oh my God, LA, I need special effects. I need banging. I need bombs. I need fucking cheers. Shit is crazy. Ali,
I think we on a podcast. It's a live webinar, man. You're killing it.
Yeah. Like, Ali, repeat what you just said, brother.
Yeah. If you're a salesperson, you work for your client. If you're a manager, you work for the owner. Which one? I mean, really, which one would you rather have? I take care of my clients and I go home. I take care of my clients. I go home. The manager has a lot of other things. There's a lot of other things that have to go on. And, we're less likely to get fired. we're less likely to get yelled at. We're less likely to have pressure. So, I mean, salesperson, the best job in the house.
Okay, there's a couple questions. I'm gonna get the next question, but I'm gonna clear something up. There's some people that are asking in the comments, how much money do you make? I'm gonna tell you right now, I try to get this out of Ali. Ali's a gentleman. He doesn't kiss and tell. He's not gonna tell you how much money he makes, but I'm gonna tell you, I've done the calculations in my head. He's definitely a multi-millionaire car salesman. Can you do me a favor, please? Like, this is like Dateline 2020. Like, I work hard for this. Can you at least give us that? Can you say that you're a verified millionaire car salesman? Yeah, no.
Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. Okay. Okay. So when I first got hired in, as most people, I got sold on the manager saying to me, you can make $100,000 a year in this job, right? So when I first heard that, I'm like, $100,000 a year? Heck yeah, sign me up, right? So you're here to hear first. I am here to tell you that you can make $100,000 a month in this job.
Woo! Woo! Yo, listen to me. You hear that, people? That's the first time he's ever said that shit like that ever. That's all you're gonna
get out of me.
Yo, listen,
that manager was wrong.
He said, oh my God, LA, do you hear this? My man said I can make $100,000 a year. He said, I'm here to tell you, you can make $100,000 a month on the showroom floor. This is why you are the Michael Jordan, the Kobe Bryant, the freaking Joe Montana, the Tom Brady of this shit right here. You're the Bruce Wayne. Can I get some, if I had some Jamaican blood clot, bump, shots, you need to get some type of
LA, he's gonna kill you with this.
Oh. LA, say something, bro. Say something. I'm too excited, bro. Say something.
LA.
That's exactly the reason why I'm relaxing, because, man, I'm telling you, you got enough energy to like this whole doggone thing on fire.
I love him. So, I love him.
I love him myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's great, dude.
I got to be into his gang.
Okay,
though.
Naima, next question. Next question.
I got
oh my God, $100,000 a month. Bro, there's 12 months. That's 1.2. Oh my God, he's not even at one. He's at look, at least 1.2. Now, let me keep it real with you people that you understand supreme mathematics. Listen to me. The most millionaires in this country don't even make $1 million a year. I'm going to shout out Greg Jones, millionaire car salesman from SEPA, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, Chevrolet. My man, Greg Jones, not Mike Jones, Greg Jones, Ali Reda. Greg Jones averages 50 to 60 cars a month. He makes $300,000 to $350,000 a year. But my man is a multi-millionaire on the showroom floor. Why? He owns 100 acres of property. He owns dry cleaners, all sorts of shit, and he's a showroom consultant. Because out of his $300,000 a year that he makes, he invests it, buys assets, not liabilities. He doesn't buy stupid shit like rims that spins. He invests that money. So if a person that's only selling 50 to 60 units a month is a multimillionaire car salesman, a dude selling $130, 202 in December, 32 cars on a Tuesday, I'm saying like he's the Jay-Z of this shit. I'm so sorry, but wow, $100,000 a month potentially. Not you, wink, wink. Somebody, I get it. LA, Naima, somebody ask a question, man. Ask a question. Ask a question.
It was a Thursday, by the way. But anyway,
whatever, bro. Naima.
Stuff. So let me ask you a question, because we have a lot of people on here that are asking. Obviously, you know everybody who you talk to can't buy a car, right? How do you handle it when someone cannot buy a car? What specifically do you say to them? Kind of talk about your process for, working with people who can't buy cars, and how do you avoid that from being like your market?
Yeah, I mean, first thing, I do my own finance. So I do finance. I do the sale from A to Z. I have 2 assistants that pretty much assist me with anything that we need. They handle all paperwork. And so I'm involved in every single deal. So if I get somebody with less than perfect credit, I don't simply say I can't help you and have them leave. I try to educate them on why we can't do something today, but how we can do something tomorrow. So if they're buried in their car, then I might give them a program to say, well, I need you to pay an extra $150 a month for 1 year, and then put on auto pay, and then come back and see me in 1 year, would be in a better position. I look at their credit and say, that on this $500 limit credit card, you have spent $450. That's killing your credit. You need to keep that below 150. So I need you to pay that off and come back and see me in 30 or 60 days. So I'm guiding them on how they can become better. And when you do that, somebody's going to be touched by you because nobody else is doing that. Most people come back and say, my finance manager said, I can't do anything for you. Sorry. You got to go. And so what makes it worse?
Wait, point. As a trainer, I'm starting to twitch. You have so many knowledge nuggets that you're dropping. Folks, listen to that. So many people, because I used to be a special finance manager. I did special finance for years. The problem is that some people run around the dealership. I'm setting you up for another question in a second after the statement. Bogue, mooch, rat, all sorts of stuff. They don't give a shit about the person. They just try to get the approval so they could crush somebody in there. What Ali just said, it's more than just the approval. It's more than just pushing the unit. It's being a fucking human being and trying to help somebody establish or reestablish their credit. Ali, talk about the human aspect and how much that's more important than just getting somebody approved to get a unit. Please, preach.
Look, some of my best clients that I have today were people that came in that way. And the first thing they say to me, I know you can't help me, but so-and-so said I have to come see you. I had one today. I literally had one this morning, and they said, so-and-so said, I have to come and see you. And I make them feel okay. I make them feel comfort. I show them the compassion. Okay. If you lack compassion in this business, people business, there's something wrong. If your manager says you're too nice, then there's something wrong. So you have to be able to show that compassion. If I have a single mother sitting in front of me and she's doing whatever she can do to survive and to get a car because she needs to take her kids to school, I mean, come on. If you don't have compassion for that, and if you don't have any sympathy or anything, I mean, do something. Don't just tell her, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I got to go get another one. That's not the business that we're in. So,
LA, wait. Let Ali finish. I have a question right after this. Keep going, Ali.
Some of my best clients were people that came in that way, and guess what? They're going to be the most loyal people you will have for the rest of your career because they will never forget what you did for them. You put yourself in their position for a minute. Slow time down. That means you need to find out where they just came from, which means their whole background, where they're going. That doesn't mean that I take a single mother that has 3 kids and put her in a Camaro, right? Because that's the wrong car. I got to understand where that person came from and where they're going. How do they leave better than when they showed up that day? How do they leave better? And that's my job, and that's what I need to do, and they'll never forget that.
Listen, I don't know, Ali, because I know that you're so busy and you're an active member in the group. Have you seen in the last incident, there's a sales that was posting pictures of a customer that had duct tape on their shoes and they were making fun of them. Another guy was illegally violating, federal laws. When they ran the credit, he disclosed person's credit score in all these Facebook groups. How fucked up is it for sales professionals to run around and call people bogues, rats, mooches in the huddle or brag about how they crushed somebody and took them to Cleveland, and or they're taking pictures of these people and they're posting them in private automotive groups making fun of people, human beings? Like, please give an ethics class because our industry needs some shit.
There is no room for that in our industry. There is no room for that anymore. I mean, we're full of professionals now. I mean, you got to be able to show some kind of compassion. I mean, that's a human. Forget about the car sale. That's a person sitting in front of you. I mean, come on. Use a little bit more. Use better judgment. Posting somebody's bad credit or that you knocked their head off. I mean, where's that person? That person has a mother. They have a brother. I mean, do you care about them? Do you care about their future? Do you care about anything? Or do you just care that you made $500 or $700 or $1,000 and that's it? I mean, how small-minded is that?
Let's talk about this, because I think it's because it's like the gang mentality. When you're in the huddle and other people are talking shit, I don't accept it, but it is horrible. But here's what I will always say, especially about special finance. You don't know what somebody's going through. Can you imagine if you call somebody a rat or bogue, but that family, their child or their spouse was going through cancer? I don't want to get upset because I've buried. Right. Yeah, I've been to my friends that buried their kids of pediatric cancer, and fucking cancer is real, man. And life situation. Look at COVID. Like, shit happens. Can you imagine if you're a regular person? And then something horrible happened, and you have some car salesman making fun of you, calling you a rat or bogue or mooch. It's
no room
just
for that person.
despicable.
No room for that person at all.
Thank you for saying that. That, again, maybe I try to say it as a trainer, but to hear someone at your caliber say that's not even a mentality, because, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to go on record. When people are offended, Ali, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people in our industry are embarrassed to tell people that they sell cars because there's such a negative connotation. But I want to go on record, and I want your opinion on this.
It's because of that. It's because of things like that.
Yes, but do you realize that there's more police and there's more Catholic priests that have controversy right now than automotive professionals? But if we feed into that negative stigma, we'll never be able to evolve. So this whole relationship selling and being, empathetic and just being human is imperative for us to grow.
This is where it's at. And Sean, one more thing I'm going to say about that.
Yeah,
please. Probably never see a female do that.
You're right.
You'll never see
oh my God, I never thought of that, but you're right. Every single time it's been a dude.
It's a guy because they have compassion towards people. They're not afraid to show their compassion. They're not afraid to love somebody and say, I love you to somebody. They're not afraid of that. They're not out there for that. Their mission is completely different. So hats off to all the women out there.
Oh my God, let's talk about that. I'm so sorry. This is just so great. Let's get a comment a question from the audience. Naima, let's go. I'm so sorry. I just love this. This is amazing to me. But Naima?
It's okay. All right.
Let me go. No. Let me go.
Okay.
So, I was like, go on mute.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different things. First of all, someone asked the question and they said, what is the number one asset that a car salesman can have? And I love your answer. You all, over the last, really 10 minutes, you've been mentioning the word compassion. Compassion. That's the number one asset that you can bring to the table, unless you can tell me something different.
Integrity.
Integrity is good.
Integrity. I love that. Yes.
But listen, so let me say this. That's not an asset. That's something that's needs to be a part of your character. Right, so that's just something that you just.
Oh, speak from LA. I need some bomb.
That's right.
Yes.
So
we'll talk about that. Oh my God, I love this.
I'll talk about this for a quick moment, and Ali, you can kind of jump in. And Dr. Covey talks about this. He talks about that. Back in the day, right? We used to have the actually be. Character ethic, and now we kind of are okay with the seem to be character ethic, and that's horrible. Like we always we don't want to be good, we want to seem like we're good, right? We don't want to be compassionate, we want to seem like we're compassionate. And so these are some of the major challenges that folks are really dealing with today, and it comes from our literature, it comes from our country's culture, everything like that. But what I hear Ali saying is that, man, he's focusing on actually being compassionate, actually being a great person. And when you stand out above the rest, man, I'm telling you, you can do things like sell 202 cars in a month. By the way, somebody did ask if you could tell us how many people you actually spoke to during that month. I don't know if you got that number.
Probably in sales. I mean, my closing ratio is 85-90%. So I probably talked to 250, 240. Somewhere around there.
85 to 90%. Holy crap!
Yeah. So let me because I know a lot of people want to know that. So how is it possible to do that? Right? If I'm doing the process is very fast and very efficient. So when you're dealing with relationship type people, your closing ratio is 85 to 90%. And it might be higher than that. But of the 80 or 90%, I am making 80 to 90% of the decisions. So things are now moving at an even faster pace. So they might just have to come up with, color or something. I get all the facts. I get everything. I'm solving the problem. All right, last time we outgrew this car. We need to get another car. What do you suggest? Here's what we should do. You give them a couple options, and then you ask them what color they want, and you move on. The whole time while I'm doing that, either A, I have their information already in my screen so I can submit their credit app, or one of the girls preloaded it already. So for me, the reason I handle finance myself is the process speeds up very fast. I can move at my own pace. Am I a control freak? Yes. But I want to control everything because that's my baby. That's my customer. This is my business. So I'm not going to rely on just other people. Now, I know in most dealerships you can't do your own finance. If you earn it, you could do it. So at some point in your career, yes, you can. If you can't, then you got to find one finance manager that you work well with, and you just tell that person, hey, I'm going to bring you all my deals, but please put me priority. I need to take care of my customers. But for me, my process is I submit that credit application. As soon as I hit submit, I get an answer back in 2 or 3 minutes. Somebody's on the phone with the insurance company. Things are moving so fast. I have 4 offices, so everybody can understand how things are possible. I have back-to-back offices set up as a doctor's office. So when you go see a doctor, here's what happens. You're in the waiting room. There's 4 or 5 offices. Every office has a different person in there. The nurse comes in. She gets the preliminary information. Doctor comes in. They look at their sheet and they say, okay, here's what we got. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what I suggest. And then they leave the office. The nurse comes in and cleans up the rest. So that's how they can handle so many patients in one day, is every office is at a different stage. So that's how I can deliver a car in 20 minutes. But not only that, Sean, if I deliver a car in 20 minutes, the next office is ready 5 minutes behind them. So now I deliver one in 20 minutes, the next one 5 minutes later, the next office 10 minutes later. That's how you get to 32 in a day. That's how you get to 20 or 15 or whatever it is in a day. Every office is at a different stage.
So Ali, I got to do 2 things. So Ali, let's go through this again, because this is really important because people are confused. It's like, if you're a mere mortal, you can't understand how divine things work. You know what I mean? Like, you could try, but you're not going to know because you're immortal. So people that sell cars, they can't fathom how Ali Reda sells 130 cars in a month or 200 cars in a month, because it will never work. I've heard you say it a million times. You could never do what you do if you sell cars like the average salesperson. And as you say, as you go to different levels, your process is going to change. Can you please speak about, as you go to different increments, your process changes? Explain that.
Yeah, very good question, because what I was doing at 20, I'm not doing at 120. So at every stage, if you're doing 20 cars right now, to get to 30 cars, there's certain tweaks that you need to make in your process. You need to figure out what's important, what's not important to get from 20 to 30. Same thing from 30 to 40. You need to change your process. So how do you do that, Sean? How do you change your process? You got to understand your process first. So what you got to do is you literally got to take a paper and you got to write down what you did all day long, every 15 minutes. So here's what I did. And do this for yourself. This is for you. Don't give it to your manager. Don't give it to your mother. Don't give it to your spouse. This is for you. Every 15 minutes when you do something, you go write down, I went to the bathroom. I went and ate lunch. I talked to a customer for 5 minutes. Write it down. When you sell a car, write down the process that you followed. When you go back and read that process, first thing you're going to find out is you just spent 4 hours doing nothing. And then you just fill the holes. So you're going to find out, wow, this is how much time I really spent doing nothing all day. Then you could go back and say, okay, in my process, I went on a test drive that was 15 minutes. Maybe I can shorten that for 5 minutes. For me personally, I don't go on test drives because they're not necessary anymore, because a relationship type selling is different than a transactional sale. That's why it's important to do everything that we're talking about to build this relationship type community, this foundation, that you don't have to wait on anybody that doesn't know who you are anymore. So very important to build relationships so you can get to that next level. Why is 30 so difficult to hit in our industry? Because a transactional sale takes 3 to 4 hours. You got process, you got all this stuff you got to do. Time per day only limits you to do 30. That's why people don't believe. That's why a lot of people, Sean, they were out there saying, well, I don't believe it. It can't be possible. You can't do 30 in a day. You can't do 200 in a month. It's possible. It's happening. And I'm not really the only one. There's other people out there doing it. So open up your mind and figure out a better.
Shout out to Chuck. I'm here at Hyundai at Bedford in Cleveland, Ohio. There's a gentleman that sold 74 units in August, averages like 65, 75 units a month, at Hyundai. And so there's people all over the country that never hit your milestone, but they're doing 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 units a month.
Those guys, small tweaks, John. Small tweaks. When I went from doing, when I hit 72, as soon as I hit 72, I knew 100 was possible. And then I said, I can hit 100 because I know I had time in my day. Wow, I did 72 and I still had this much time because I knew my process. I knew what I could change. Those guys doing 60 and 70, if you're on here, there's small tweaks that you can do. You'll pick up 15 cars like that. And then when you get that number, when you hit the 90, then 100 is going to be right there. And you're going to consistently do it. So they're just small tweaks in your process that you need to do.
Okay, guys, LA, what I want you to do is I'm going to talk about a couple things really quick, like not an intermission, but this is relevant to what we're doing here. And I want Naeem to come up with some really good questions. So I want to let you guys know, because I don't even know if Ali realizes this. Folks, Dealer Synergy and Bradley Demand are in 1,100 active rooftops. We are honored to be, Ali, partnered with Grant Cardone and Cardone On Demand. As you see here, like, look at who that is right here. This is your boy, Sean V. Bradley, right here for internet sales, phone sales, and BDC. So we're in all 800 Cardone stores. I want to shout out Jeff Bounds, the head of Cardone Automotive Resources, Jared Glant, and Grant himself and the whole team. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is that we also have Bradley Demand. So what I'm saying, this message is not for non-Dealer Synergy clients. So I have a lot of these people that are listening to you are my clients, because I talk about you all the time. So here's what drives me crazy. Ali, I don't know if you've seen this before. Watch. When you log into Bradley Demand, I have the most powerful platform, more than any other trainer consultant in the entire automotive industry. I have 6,000 training modules, $5 million cash in training here. And I'm not selling you anything. I want the people to know that, Ali, you're on my platform already. Check this out. So these are all the things. I'm not even trying to show you this, but watch. When I go to showroom sales, look at this section right here, Ali. And when you talk about training, this is what drives me crazy, because when you go into showroom sales, watch this. You're going to turn around. I'm just waiting for the internet to kick in and click it in here. I might have to refresh. But see the millionaire car salesman, that section right here? Guess who's in that? Ali Reda, you're in there. Remember when I did the interview with you at Digital Dealer when we did the podcast before? And you know, when sometimes we've done Zooms, Ali, I want to just shout out Ali. Ali's been so kind that sometimes, as a matter of fact, where I'm at now, this is a 15 rooftop dealer group. Ali, you might not remember, but I was here at the Hyundai, at the Kia store. And as I was leaving, you called me back and we were able to get on here. But look at this, Ali, in my showroom sales section that's here. I don't know why it's not logging in. But there's an entire section of Ali Reda, which is free. So you don't have to buy it or whatever. All my clients, I have 1,100 active rooftops. Here it is. Look at this. So Ali, look at that. That's you. There it goes. You see that right there?
There it is.
When you click Ali Reda, look at all these modules. Ali, I don't even know if you even know this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro, check this out. Like you're influencing tens of thousands of people. So introduction to Ali Reda, interview with Ali Reda, relationship selling versus transactional selling, community brand building, day-to-day operations, importance of training, generating rebuttals, advertising, increasing. Do you probably don't even remember that we talked about all the stuff?
No,
so
that's amazing.
I basically took, you know, our interviews, our webinars, our podcasts, and I chopped up into modules so you were able to do this. Just for shits and giggles, watch this, guys. You know what I mean? And so this that we're doing, this meeting right here, guess what we're going to do? We're going to turn and chop it in and put it into the platform for free.
Everybody, I want to introduce you to one of my friends and somebody I truly admire in the automotive industry.
Oh, you've never seen this, Ali?
Reda.
I don't think I have.
Reda is the #1 salesperson that has ever been born and lived on planet Earth, and he's living during our time. This man has sold more cars than any human being out of the billions of people that populate this Earth. He sold, you ready for this? 1,580 units in 1 year to break the Guinness Book of World Records, and he utterly shattered Joe Girard's record. In addition to that, in December 2018.
And so I go through it. So my point, guys, is that, you know, for all my clients, it drives me crazy, Ali, because what you said earlier in the thing, I didn't even set you up for it, is that these people like have access. My platform is like Harvard, Yale, and Vanderbilt and Brown all in one, and they don't pay anything. The dealer pays for it, and they've got people like you that are on here, and they don't really engage the training because they like, I don't need to train. I want your opinion. Why is it that we want to practice with real customers instead of doing what I think, you know, is really important, which would be, you know, training and practice, drilling, rehearsing. Let's talk about that, Ali. How important is training and mastering your craft?
I mean, let's look at athletes. Let's not look any further. I mean, Kobe Bryant. Let's look at, you know, show up 2 hours before a game, shooting around for 2 hours prior to playing a game. I mean, why do we think we don't need practice? Why do we think that we don't need training? I mean, how could we think that we could just go up there and just say, okay, well, I'm just going to test it on this real life customer, and if I blow it, I blow it. I mean, come on. I mean, it's simple. You got to get better at being you. You got to understand, you know, what you're doing. You got to follow this stuff. I mean, I mean, that's pretty crazy, Sean. That's the first time I've ever seen it. But if people have this at their fingertips and they're not using it, I mean, they're just crazy.
Exactly. Now, here's the last thing we're going to do. I want to make one major announcement. So everybody, this is breaking news. Breaking news. Okay. So check this out. This is the first time ever. Ali Reda's never even seen this himself. Nobody's ever seen this himself. Now, Ali, so check
this. Oh my God.
Yeah. You see this? This is the new cover. This is the brand new cover of my new book. So I'm like Dr. Dre. I don't drop books every year. My first book became an international bestseller, written in multiple languages, including Mandarin and Chinese and all sorts of crazy shit. And I'm signed to Wiley Publishing. I've sold tens of thousands of copies of Win the Game of Googleopoly. So I've been taking my time, Ali, listen to this, to write a prolific book. So if I'm Ruth, I'm pointing out there. I want to leave. You're talking about legacy. I want to leave a book the caliber of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, of The Secret, of Good to Great, of Napoleon Hill, but for our industry. Googleopoly wasn't for the industry. It was for me to become famous in all industries. But this I'm giving to the industry that I love, that helped make Sean Bradley. And I'm proud to announce that Ali Reda has agreed to write the foreword of my book.
That's so crazy, man. I am so honored and humbled that you would even think of that, man. That's just, man, I'm literally speechless over that. That is so cool.
So Ali, let's talk about that. What the whole purpose of the book is that, like you said before, oh my God, you were excited to make $100,000 a year, but you are living proof that it is possible to make, wink, wink, maybe, but we're not going to get there, not $100,000 a month. So the whole concept of the book is to be a millionaire car salesman. How can you sell more cars more often, more profitably? What is the ecosystem? Because like you said, Ali, to be a business, to really treat car sales like your own business, it's more than just the road to the sale and product knowledge. There's time management, marketing, advertising, PR, relationship. There's a myriad of things. So in this book, I am going to really dive in deep. And I'm going to tell you, Ali, you don't know this. I'm saying this, brother, much respect, but I am very close friends with New York Times bestselling authors, people that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars and actually borderline billionaires. And I only asked you. It's not like you're the second or third choice.
That's crazy,
you're
man.
the only person that asked to write the foreword of this book.
I'm literally speechless, dude. I'm speechless over that. I mean, I'm humbled. I am extremely humbled that you would do that.
I'm humbled that you agreed to write the foreword. We're about to make history, brother.
Just the love and support that you've given me over my career, over just past 4 or 5 years, man. It's just I so appreciate it. I can't thank you enough for your continuous love and support, and you got it right back from me. I guarantee you that.
No, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up. And I'm going to ask maybe like 4 or 5 questions. We are now at the 90-minute mark, so I'm going to just let more people get a chance to ask questions. So Naima, let's fire them off. What's the next question for Ali?
This is not Naima. This is L.A. Williams speaking.
Okay, L.A. Williams, what you got, baby? So we're overtime hours. Naima, check that.
So here's the situation. Yeah, so no, she's right here. But here's the thing. So there's a couple of different questions that everybody really wants to know. And they're kind of not related. So I'm going to go with the first one. Talk to me about, because this is my own personal assumption, Ali, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, right? Because in sales, it's a very offensive game. So we got to make phone calls. And we teach it. The more phone calls you make, the more people you connect with. The more people you connect with, the more appointments you set, appointments that show sold, right? But in the relationship thing that you're talking about, it sounds like there's a lot of business coming to you. So let me kind of frame the question. People are asking, how do you handle it when basically you lose a customer to another dealer? Like basically you get the bought elsewhere. So you call somebody and they're like, oh, I bought a car elsewhere. How do you handle that? Or is that not a big deal to you because you've got so much, business just coming in? Kind of talk to us about that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt me as much. I don't like to lose any customer because I don't want to, if I lost it because of something that I did wrong, I would feel horrible. Or if I didn't give that customer attention they deserved, I would feel horrible. But, if I did lose a deal just because of, the car they didn't like or they wanted a different brand, I mean, I can't take that personal. So we got to understand as salespeople, it's don't take it personal because it's gonna spin you out of control. I mean, it's going to affect your next customer. It's going to affect you all week. You got to be able to just toughen up and move past that immediately. and hopefully learn from it. And when you talk to that customer, you don't sound negative to them. Say, I'm sorry I didn't earn your business this time, but I'm happy to help if you need anything in the future. If they did buy the same brand, you got to let them know that, hey, you can still bring your car here for service. You don't know if they're going to send you a customer. You don't know if down the road they need another car. So, don't just hang up the phone and tell them, oh, I hate you. Just, hey, we have service department here is outstanding. Come by, I'll take you to service department, and try to earn their business that way. Don't take it personal. You got to be able to move on.
I absolutely love what you're saying, because I talk to people about that all the time, right? It's like the paradigm has to shift. It's not, oh man, it's, wow, congratulations, you purchased a vehicle. I'm so excited for you. What'd you end up getting? Where'd you end up getting? And I hope it wasn't something that we did, right?
Right, of course, yeah. I mean, that sounded personal, right? It sounded sincere.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. But it's a paradigm shift. And that's one of the number one things that people are having a challenge with, what I see. Let me ask this other question, because people really do want to know. I got a guy that's at 25, sometimes 30 cars a month. And I get this in the music industry all the time. People say, when should I hire a manager? And I'm like, when you can no longer manage your own stuff, right?
Right.
But people are asking me, when should I hire an assistant? How do I know that I need an assistant? They just want to hear it from you.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be at a different level. I would say when you get to, I hired one when I got to my 50s, which was a little bit late. I probably should have did it at 35 or 40, because an assistant is going to help you grow. They're going to help you hit that next level. So, when my time became too valuable to fill out deal jackets and call insurance companies, then I knew that I needed an assistant. When I couldn't get to my phone calls or emails, then I knew I needed help. So in order for me to grow, I had to think outside the box. I had to say, how am I going to grow and get back to all these customers that are calling me? Because eventually, if you don't get back to them, they're going to stop calling. That's when I knew I needed an assistant. So if you're steadily doing 30, 35, you seriously need to get an assistant, even if it's part-time.
Ali, let's talk about that real quick.
Hold on, follow up.
No. Wait, this is this. Wait, no. This is about this right here. I'm sorry. Ali, let's just say that I'm a 30 or 35 or 40 car person and I'm inspired by what you're saying. I'm going to hire an assistant. Please just take a second. If I only have my first assistant, go through the job expectations, the job roles. What would be all the activities that my full-time assistant would do? Please list them out.
I mean, it's going to be immediately answering your phone calls. That's going to be the first task. Filling out deal jackets. Making sure that you have all the content of the deal jacket that you need, driver's license, making copies. There's little things that you need to be done, but they're non-productive. So those are the type of things that person should start out doing. Managing your CRM is another thing that they should eventually have to do, because you're going to be more important talking to people one-on-one. That's going to be the main thing that you need. You need to get in front of people. That's what we do. That's what we're best at. So all the other stuff, it's very difficult to let go of certain things. Even for me, it was very difficult for me to let go of, having somebody, run the company with me. But, I needed that help. So for me to get to that next level, you definitely have to think outside the box and let go of some of those obligations.
LA, get your turn.
All right. So real quick, just the follow-up is, and it was a great question, Sean. So here's the thing. I sold 40 cars, but I'm just afraid. When it comes to hiring an assistant, that means what if, I'm going to have to pay that person or something else going on? Like, how do I break open my mindset to say, you know what, I'll make the money to be able to pay the person? I'm just telling you this because I see car salesmen that are selling 40 cars a month. And when I mention an assistant or something, they're like, oh, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're selling 40 cars a month, you should not be worried about paying somebody, a small portion to help increase your business. Besides, I mean, that person is doing something more important than just helping you grow your business. They're keeping you sane. I mean, they're giving us something that's very important. They're buying time for us. With assistants that, my assistants now who are absolutely amazing have bought me years in the business. They have bought me time. So there is no price tag that I can put to say that, is it worth it or not worth it? Without them, there's no doubt I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Let me tag in about this.
Small-minded.
There's a whole bunch of things. Ali and LA, folks, listen to me clearly. Let's start with this, and I'm learning from Cameron Moore. Like, Cameron is a beast with technology. First of all, for the first time ever, we have Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Siri. What we need to do is leverage really basic technology that can really streamline with reminders, notifications, automation, all of those things. If you need to maximize your technology, that's one. Second, there's virtual assistants. So before you make that plunge with a full-time assistant or even a part-time assistant, there's virtual assistants that you have in virtual offices that could take some stuff out. Next from there, then you have the ability of a part-time assistant or then a full-time assistant. And then on top of that, if I were you, if you're doing 35, 40 cars a month, you're obviously double, triple, maybe even quadruple more than what the average salesperson is at your store. I would step and try to close your managers. Give them the first pencil. Hey, I got an idea. You want 50, 60 cars for me? Get me an assistant. Try to pimp them. And I know there's GMs and managers, listen to me, no disrespect, but they got fucking money. Pimp them. And if they say no, then just car guy them. Give them a second pencil. How about this? How about we split it? Like Ali said before. And if they say no to the full cost, to the split cost, then you need to make a career decision and say, are you ready to take your career and your success to the next level? Then you've got to be ready to invest in yourself. But LA, right or wrong, I just give you 6 or 7 different freaking responses from Apple based from Siri, Alexa to virtual assistant to part-time to full-time to pimping the dealership fully. I mean, stop making excuses. I want everybody here, please say amen if you agree. Exhaust every option before you implement any excuses. Ali, you agree with me, brother?
100%. 100%.
Amen. See, and so here's the thing. When you talk about excuses, I do have people that are asking questions, and I apologize if I'm taking it wrong, but people are like, how long did it take you to get to 20 cars, 50 cars, 60 cars, 100 cars? Now, here's the thing. You can answer the question if you want, but my thing is I think people ask those questions to give themselves reasons why they can't do it. Like, oh, I only been in the business a year, so I can't sell 30 cars, 50 cars.
That's awesome.
Come on, man.
That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to put things in perspective for you. So earlier we talked about that I left one dealership and started over. So in 2010, let's look at the time frame. June of 2010, the second part of June is when I started at Les Stanford. So it was in the middle of June when I started there, 2010. So that year, I'm just getting adjusted to a new dealership. That half a year, right? From 2010 to 2017, we went from selling 30 cars a month to averaging 130 a month. How many years is that in between there? So there is not, it's not 40 years or 30 years or 20 years. So if you look at it, I started at a brand new dealership in 2010. And in 2017, I'm averaging 130. What's your excuse?
There you go.
Put some respect on his name. Ali Boumaier. Ali Boumaier. Ali
LA,
Boumaier.
he's going to kill you with that.
Yes, that's crazy. He just turned and said, I started Les Stanford, like literally, and in 7 years, I went from 30 to $130. That is just crazy, man. Crazy.
Right, and that's how fast it multiplies. That is how fast it multiplies. So it's possible. It's possible for anybody on this call to duplicate it.
Absolutely, man.
And I don't want to diminish anything, but let's just say, let's just keep it real for a second. Shit, if you only did half of that, oh my God, you're like 65, 70 units. You did a quarter of that. I mean, it's just, the numbers are just insane to me. So so again, LA, next question. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah. So Ali, could you share with us your thoughts on BDC internet department? Because I know a lot of the stuff that you're doing is personally generated. Can you talk about, what are your thoughts on BDC and kind of folks really taking advantage of that?
I mean, that's where the industry is going. So if you're not involved in the BDC, if you're not involved in internet sales, and you're not treating that customer as that customer is sitting in front of you, which means using your own language. When you're texting somebody or you're emailing somebody, you got to sound like a real person and not like an automated message, because they're already getting a bunch of those. That's what's going to separate you from everybody else. Texting is such a big deal too, that we are so quick to text. I get 100 texts a day, and a lot of my sales are off of text messages. Sometimes I don't even speak to a customer until they come in and sign the paperwork. You got to remember that, that person is reading the text message on the other end, and it needs to sound personal. a lot of times we forget to even say hello on a text message. What we immediately respond is the answer without being personable. So you need to slow down time. You need to read that message before you send it off, and it needs to sound authentic and not like a auto-generated message. So, but BDC is a very important. CRM, if you're not working your CRM at this point, you're doing 20, 30, 15. If you're not working that CRM, that's a tool. I mean, that is a tool that's there to design to make your day better and your life easier. So if you're forgetting those steps and you're not getting to the basics, I mean, you know, that's where the industry is going, man.
What CRM do you use? What CRM do you use?
We use UpLogic.
UpLogic.
Yep.
Okay.
UpLogic. We had Dealer Socket, and I think they switched it. So I don't know if UpLogic was a different company name before that or not, but that's what we use.
I love it. LA?
All right, cool. So talk about this real quick, because people have questions about, you know, how do you handle your inventory? Do you have control over like inventory, what you have coming in? How do you kind of make that work out?
Yeah, I'm involved in inventory. You know, we all have inventory issues. You know, every dealership has problems at some point or another. We just went through a strike that we were having inventory issues, but you know, I'm involved in ordering, you know, certain types of vehicles, certain options that I like, and I feel like my customers and all my clients need. So there's certain things, safety package features and that I pretty much put in all the cars. I'm more comfortable selling that product. So I am involved in what we order.
Okay, guys. So here's what the subconscious mind says. Oh, well, because I don't have control over my inventory, I can't do what he does. I'm trying to tell you, people be looking for freaking excuses.
But I'm
Sit
not.
it down.
Yeah, right. But I suggest what we like, but it's not. It's still, you know, if you have 300 cars and you're struggling selling 12 of them, inventory is not your issue. Move past it.
Say it again.
Yeah, inventory is probably not the issue, LA. There's other issues there that are, you know, a lot of people will make up excuses. So the whole reason we're here today is because a lot of people were doubting what was possible and what wasn't possible. So, you know, I had made a statement that made a lot of sense, you know, a couple of days ago, and it kind of stuck with me. So for people that didn't believe in what's possible or believe my story, it doesn't affect me in any way. So basically what I said is if you don't believe me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect my life in any way. However, if you do believe me, I might affect yours. And that's such a bold statement that the non-believers have no effect of my day, Sean. Zero. I move on. I still do what I do, and they have no effect on me. But if you do believe me, I will affect your life in some way just by showing you what's possible. Sean, it's powerful.
I ain't got nothing to say. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So Ali, I got a question for you. Let's just say that we hear this, there's so many excuses in the dealership world that, oh, I've got a team of old car dogs, dinosaurs, they ain't going to do that shit. So my question is, how do you speak to somebody that's been in the industry for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and they're just, you know, selling, you know, 10, 12, 15 units a month, but they hear this and they're like, well, this Ali Reda, he got some good shit here. What advice do you give to somebody to break decades and decades of just mediocre or worse bad habits? How do they do that?
I mean, there's a better way. It's obvious the way you were doing it was not that I'm saying it was wrong, but it wasn't as productive. It was maybe flawed. So, you know, for those people, if you didn't want to, you know, adapt with the times, if you didn't want to, you know, Blockbuster didn't want to pay attention to Netflix, and look what happened. So, you know,
don't be Blockbuster is what I'm hearing, people. Don't be Blockbuster.
Don't be Blockbuster, man. You got to learn. You got to educate yourself. You're never too old to do that. But here's the one thing for everybody, for young, new, everybody. If you think that you're going to sit in a dealership and business is just going to come to you, then you are going to be 30 years later looking at 12 cars a month. That's going to be your career. If you are not going to go out and create business, and you're not going to create, and creating business is going to eliminate a lot of these other problems that you have: inventory problems, management problems, finance problems. You're going to eliminate all these issues because you're going to have a steady flow of customers coming in. So a customer buys somewhere else, it's okay. You're not going to feel bad about it because you have a steady flow of customers coming in. So you need to get yourself out there to create business. That's where you're going to be ultra successful. If you're not going to create business, they ain't going to come. If you build it, they will come.
I'm just trying to keep up with the freaking knowledge bombs that are here. LA, what's up next? Ask the next question. I got something on deck.
No, I'm gonna let you go ahead and rock out, man, because I'm telling you, we're approaching the 7,200 second mark. And listen, man, oh, man, gotta get some sleep. Y'all working, y'all rocking him to death. So I'm gonna shut this doggone thing down. But I definitely want to see if people really saying that they want more of this. I need you to say that I want more, because again, we can schedule something. I mean, we can figure this doggone thing out. Plus, if you're the winner, you're going to get an hour with Ali Reda. You're going to get an hour with all this stuff. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So they can get more. I don't know if it's going to happen tonight, but I just want to see that people are still engaged, because I'm seeing people say, "Hey, that's powerful. That's powerful." Some people might be sleepy. I don't know if you're sleepy. Then
okay, let me jump in, LA. Let me jump in, LA. People, listen to me. Listen to me right now, okay? Because we're winding this down. Do you believe that we've been rocking for 1 hour and almost 10 minutes? This is how fast this has gone. This has been an hour and 10 minutes.
No, 2 hours. Wait a minute. You missing this?
Oh my God, you're right. Almost 2 hours. Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. I can't count. I'm delirious. I've been working at a dealership all day, 3 dealerships the last 2 days. I can't count. I'm sorry. That's why I have accountants, because I can't count money. We're almost 2 hours. That's right. An hour. We're like 10 minutes away from 2 hours. Right. So think about this for a second. 1 hour and 50 minutes. We've just been rocking out bullet. So do me a favor, everybody. Ali, wait a second. LA, please. If this guy was on stage, you all should be getting to your motherfucking feet, clapping and doing that shit. The way that you could clap and give a standing ovation is by putting comments. Thank you to Ali, not me. I'm just a host.
I thank them. I thank them for being on here and engaging, man. There's a lot of other things that they could be doing as well. So thank you guys for your participation. I mean, without that, none of this is possible.
Here's what I want to see. I want you to write, "I will use this." Put "I will use this" in the chat, because that's what he wants. That's what he wants. Thank yous are great, and I appreciate it, and Ali appreciates it. But we want to see you make a difference, right? I want to see some pledges. How many cars will you sell in the month of February, right? How many cars will you sell in the month of February? Can I see those numbers pop up on the screen? Naima, I want you to tell me what numbers you're saying. How many
in the Millionaire Car Salesman group on YouTube? How many cars are you going to sell in February? Put your number
of February.
And Rick says 47.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, 30, got 40.
I want to say something about numbers. Let me say something about number 2. Yeah. That why it's important you actually should write down the number that that you believe in your heart is the right number for you. So if you're at 20 and you write down 100, don't be ridiculous. Because when I was at 20, I could never see 100. If you're at 20 and your number in your heart is 30 or 32, then you got to write that down. And until the first time I ever wrote 60 was the number that I was doing 30, 35. And I said, if I ever got to 60, wow, man, my life would be perfect. Everything would be perfect. And until I actually wrote that number down and believed it, that's when I achieved it. So it happens here first, well before it ever happens on paper. Feel it, write it, then achieve it.
Let me build this into 2 different things here. Dr. Covey, the author from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says things have to be created twice. First mentally and then physically. What you could visualize, you have a higher probability of materializing. Rhonda Byrne, from this amazing book, The Secret, The Laws of Attraction Manifestation, what LA said, by putting that number down, you're speaking it to the universe. You're beginning with the end result in mind. You're giving the universe what you expect and what you deserve, and the universe will bring you those opportunities. So, Ali, I do have a big question, and I'm going to let LA, or I'll just have one more last question there. I do have a question for you. So let's go back to that book that I'm writing. I already have my outline, but I'm curious. I don't really get a chance to have people at my level, your level, that I could just ask advice for. So I have some personal advice that I'd like to ask you for. Can you see my screen, everybody?
Yep.
You can see it. So what's on the screen right now? The book, right?
Yep.
Okay, so here's my thing, especially since you're writing forward. If we truly, me and you, Ali, want to create a legacy book for the next, 20 plus years, that people are like the 7 Habits or Good to Great, they got to get this book if they want to crush car sales. What type of content should I put in here? Remember, I already have my outline, but I want to ask my friend and now the gentleman writing the forward of my book, what needs to be in this book so it could be a truly valuable piece to the entire automotive sales community? Tell me what I need to have in here.
I mean, I would say personal branding. Personal branding would be the one thing that people need to kind of, need some direction on how to start, right? And the problem is, like we talked about earlier, is we give up way too soon. Personal branding does take time to develop. So remember one thing, Sean, this is not a job. This is a career. This is not a 30-day career. This is a lifelong career. I know our industry is based on 30-day increments, but my career doesn't last 30 days and I start over. I have no beginning and I have no end. So it doesn't matter to me what I did that month. It doesn't matter to me what I did that year. I have no beginning and I have no end. That's what we should be focusing on, branding yourself that you don't have to worry about 30 days. Did I hit my quota for this 30 days? None of that, it matters. I have no beginning. I have no end. It's a career. It's a lifelong career. And that's what I'm committed to. That's what we need to talk about and helping people get themselves out there and build their brand.
Hey, Ali, I need to take a moment and say, holy crap. This is the #1 live stream that we've ever done from the Millionaire Car Salesman Group. There are, I don't know if it's thousands, but there's hundreds and hundreds of comments. I don't even know, dude. And what I'm excited about is after this is over, because I haven't been able to read very much of this stuff, I am going to answer every single one of them. LA is going to, and again, I thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me the privilege and LA the privilege to interview, someone at your level. And so what I want to do is, if nobody's got any final questions, I'd like to give you the opportunity to close out, because we're going into 2 hours straight here. I don't want to take advantage. It's the end of the month.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, bro, don't get me started. LA's already camping.
Stop.
LA. Me and Ali are about that life. You want to get a fucking blanket and
it's not about that, baby. It's not about that. There's a couple of different things that we got to do, right? Check this out, right? Because somebody got to be there. You know what I'm saying? Put the kids to bed type of thing.
I'm only messaging you. I got to give you.
So check this out. Listen to me, right? So here's the thing. I know we got a contest. We have a contest that, we're giving out some stuff for tomorrow. But I want people that actually, follow through on their commitments. So here's what I'm looking to do. Can we put together something for the person who actually does two things, not just one, two things, right? The first thing you got to do is I want you to have done exactly what Ali said as far as writing down your process every 15 minutes. We want to see it in writing. We want the pages. I don't care if it's digital. I don't care. Whatever you got to do. I want to see that. And you have to have hit your number that you already put in the Millionaire Car Salesman Group or in this chat, right? So you can't just do one or the other. You have to actually do both. Because, again, I'm looking for people who actually follow through on their commitments. So if you wrote 32, I need you to do 32. If you wrote 47, you got to do 47, right? Don't just be throwing out numbers out here, right? So if you just put up some crazy number that already disqualifies you, right? Have some integrity, right? And with yourself, right? Don't stop lying to yourself. So I need to know, what can we do for the people who actually hit the number in February? It has to be verifiable, and you need to show us your process, because I'm hoping, and I'm hoping Ali, Sean, and I can kind of get together, and we can absolutely put kind of like a doctorate to your process so we can get you to the next level. I just want to know from the gentleman, what can we do?
I love it. Let me just say this also, because we're about to close this thing right here. You got one shot to plead your case to get $7,500 legitimately. This is not inflated BS. We're talking about the Bradleys, LA Williams, and Ali Reda personal one-on-one coaching. And Ali threw in a freaking 30-minute manager sales meeting, Bradley on demand, and then freaking shout out to Build a Brand, Brian Chapman, Cameron Moore, a full-blown Build a Brand website. It's probably worth more than that, but I'm telling you, legitimate net $7,500. If you want to get some Beyonce upgraded Oprah Ellen type ish right now, put in the comments, put in the Millionaire Car Salesman Group, why should you deserve, out of the tens of thousands of people that are watching this now and will be watching the reruns, why should we reward you with a $7,500 career upgrade package? Put it in there. Why? And now with that being said, Ali, I want you, brother, please close out today with, like you said, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? Because you want to contribute to the community. So I want you to take your entire illustrious amazing, legendary career, and then just leave our audience, like drop the mic, brother. What do you want to leave in a message of inspiration, of just like what you got your whole career? Just close out this meeting, because I got chills. So I'm waiting to hear what you have to say, brother. Speak.
It's awesome, man. This industry has been so good to me. Your group, as a whole has been so good to me. So, I would like to leave everybody better than when they came on here from the beginning. I would love to leave the industry better than when I found it. So I'm giving time just so people can understand what's possible. That's all you need to do. You need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in what's possible. When I was doing 30, I didn't believe I can do 100. But I knew I can get to 40. And then when I believed I can get to 50. So if you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in your product, you don't believe in your family, there's a lot of obstacles that you're going to have to overcome. So it all starts with you. It starts here first. It's possible. I'm living proof of it. I'm no better than you. And if I can do it, and I wholly mean that, if I can do it, you can do it. You just got to be dedicated. There's no substitution for work. There's none. You got to work. So you got to put in the time. I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I put in my time. I sacrificed. You can do it too. It's worth it. In the end, you're going to find you're going to be ultra successful. But there is really no substitution for work. If you don't do it, nobody's going to do it for you. So I encourage you tomorrow, just look at it differently. Look at what's possible. How do I get to this next level? And it's one level at a time. Stay in your own lane until you're ready to move on. But gosh, I'm humbled to be here. Thank you for inspiring me. I'm inspired by the group and the industry as a whole. I look forward to sharing more. So share, love, and learn from each other.
Share, love, and learn. I'm going to say this right here. You guys know me. I'm online. I'm big. I'm vocal. This today, Ali, was a highlight of my career. Dude, I just spent 2 hours. No, bro, like, why would I say that? What do I got to lose from saying that? Dude, I just spent 2 hours with our industry's Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I just had the privilege to be, that's like when these sportscasters on ESPN interviewing, Kobe after his, umpteenth, championship. That's how I feel right now, that I got to interview somebody that personifies the opportunity in this country that you could do more, be more, and achieve more. So straight up, brother, thank you for the opportunity to be able to share this moment together. LA, what do you got to say about the experience?
100% life-changing. Thank you so much for this, Ali. This was phenomenal. So whatever, of course, whatever I can do for you, I'm always willing to do it. And thank you, just from the bottom of my heart.
Your friendship is more than I can ever ask for, my man. I appreciate you.
All right, everybody, listen, I'm going to close out on saying this, is that there is a ton of comments. I promise you, here's what you could expect. First, like I get with Ali, everybody that registered for the webinar will get a link for a free copy of Ali and Damien's, how to sell 100 cars per month book. Next thing is this, that we will answer every single comment that's a question. We can't respond to everybody that's like, yeah, yes, 20 numbers and stuff like that, but we will respond to every single question. It might take us a little bit. And then you have my commitment that me, Ali, LA, Karen, and Cameron will choose the winner. And we're not going to just pick them randomly. We'll give you a justified reason of why we chose this person, and we're going to do something special. And again, this is just the beginning. This is the first time me and Ali did something like this, and the response was crazy. And Ali, I spent $0 in any ads or anything. This is just organic from the group and from a couple email drops. So from the momentum from this, the next thing is that we have obviously this major book that Ali is writing the forward with, but then we'll just see where it comes. But again, thank you everybody for being a member of the Millionaire Car Salesman group. Thank you everybody for participating today and making history. Thank you. God bless. And you know what I mean? Let's close out this month strong. It's the end of January, people. Let's crush this and get ready for a strong as hell February. I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like it, you love it, you want more of it, then don't wait for the next money show. Just go to bradleyondemand.com and take your career to the next level.